So, Bill, thanks for sitting down with me today. Maybe you could just quickly introduce yourself to everybody. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. I'm Bill Muller, and I've been here at Midway for a little over a year. Prior to that, I spent 35, maybe 40 years as an automobile dealer. So I'm
That's a long time.
not new to retail, that's for sure.
That's a lot of cars. How many
So-
cars do you reckon you sold in 40 years?
At least 1,000 a year, so 40 to 50,000.
That's a lot of vehicles. So a lot of people on the road thanks to you.
And that's only new cars.
So you finished up there up in New Jersey in that industry, and then you came to Florida. So what made you think about getting into real estate?
Well, I've been here, now I'm here for about 3 years, but when I first got here, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do. And actually, I dabbled in the insurance business for a little bit. Didn't find that was exciting in the least. And
You wanted something more meat on the bone to get your teeth in.
and having been in Sarasota for over 30 years also, I said, you know what, there's so much nice property around here, maybe real estate. And my wife said to me, why don't you do real estate? So
Here we are.
here we are. I set my mind on getting the test done quickly, and I took it and had my license within 2 weeks,
Wow. So you passed first time?
first time.
I did too. I was the first time pass. And I'm terrible at tests, so I don't know how I passed it, but I did. I'm a really bad student, but I just wanted to get it out of the way.
I'm good at memorizing.
What did you say? Who was it? I can't remember anything. I have a terrible memory. So you got your real estate license, and I know that we were not your first brokerage that you joined. You went somewhere else
No, the minute I
first?
got my license, I started getting emails and phone
Oh,
calls
yeah.
from a number of brokerages all over this part of the state. So one of the larger ones contacted me and said, hey, there's a couple of offices. I lived in Lakewood Ranch. Why don't you go to both of them? So I went and interviewed, picked one, started. Probably spent about 6 months there. During that time, there was some training, not a lot. And then they kind of said, hook up with this other agent and just go do open houses, which I did. But after 6 months, I hadn't gotten anywhere. Didn't feel like I really knew that much. And by some strange coincidence, I get a text maybe I saw it online, I'm not sure. But next thing I knew, I was speaking with you in AI.
I think you were speaking to my AI bot first, and then I stepped in. But I think you called up that it was an AI. But
I did towards the end.
you did. But we had a good conversation. So going back to where you were, did you not get what they said they were going to deliver for you? And
Well,
what kind of business did you do when you were there?
I had one listing. It was the listing from hell, unfortunately. And there was a lot of training available, but always at a cost.
Really? They charged you extra
Yeah.
for that? Okay. So what made you think of jumping ship and moving? Obviously, I obviously contacted you at the right time, but you obviously had a mindset at that point that it wasn't going in the right direction for you.
No, I knew I needed a lot more training, and I knew that I needed more one-on-one stuff, not because when you go to a bigger brokerage, every time you do something, it's 30, 40, 50 people.
Right.
And, there's always a few that speak, and then there's 48 people who just sit there. So,
And then when you get to that kind of volume of people in a training room, it really is a one-size-fits-all training, isn't it? It's like generic corporate training that's designed for the masses.
I was just going to say that it's very, very corporate. You could tell some of the stuff was, by their own admission, 2, 3, 4 years old, wasn't really current. And there was a point where I just said, that if I keep going this way, I won't stay in this.
Well, it's funny because when I got my license in 2008. And I actually also went to different brokerage than yours, but I went to a larger, franchise brokerage. And I would never speak bad of them to this day. They were lovely, lovely people. But I just found that I was giving away all of my commissions and getting nothing back for it. I was looking, I had the logo on my business card, but at the end of the day, I was like, what are they really giving me for the amount of money I was having taken from my commissions? And it was the same thing. It was corporate style training, one size fits all. And the other thing that really stuck out with me, and they were great people, but I remember I lost a deal. It was on a Saturday, and I couldn't get this deal done because I didn't know what I was doing. I just got my license, and I'm out jumping in the deep end, and I couldn't get hold of. There was 3 brokers. I couldn't get hold of anybody on a Saturday, and I did it wrong, and I lost the deal, and it cost me like, I don't know, $5,000-6,000 in commission. And I've never made that mistake again that I'd made that day. But my point was, I remember the frustration of being in the field and needing that immediate answer and not being able to get it. And so when I started up Medway Realty, and I really started Medway Realty as the antithesis of the franchise brokerage, because people want an alternative to that. And the one promise I made myself was I was never going to be that broker that would frustrate my agents by them not getting the support that they needed when they needed it, because I believe that's the difference between you making a successful number of sales or not. So that was really how I got into doing this and became a broker. But so you started talking to my AI. I obviously tapped into you at the right time because you were feeling a little bit frustrated with what you were not getting where you were. So I'm not asking you to stroke my ego. I'm just asking you to tell me the honest truth here. So what made you interested in the conversation, and then to lead to us meeting and you joining us? Maybe you could tell everybody the process and what engaged you there.
Well, I think after we first met and you described the training that you were going to provide, that especially as a new agent, and your pockets aren't full. So when somebody says to you, I'll train you, but this is going to be $200. This one's usually $320, but I'll sell it to you for $195 week after week, and you don't have that money. And in essence, you're not getting trained because you can't afford it.
Right.
So when I met with you and we discussed training, and I saw that it was going to be ongoing all the time, not out of my pocket, at least not at the point of the training itself. It was a way for me to get the training and then obviously become successful, and then you can afford it.
Right. Yeah. So nothing we do, as you know, is out of pocket, right?
Correct.
There's no fees. There's no, we're going to charge you up front for this or up front for that. You know this. You've been with us over a year now.
Yep.
And so everything we do is based on a per close basis. So if we don't get you closing, you know that you're sitting here in the office and we're not taking $1 from you, right?
As I said, well, if I don't make any money, you don't make any money. So this won't work out unless I get the right training and I'm successful, which thank God it has turned out that way.
Now, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to be completely honest with me. You're not going to offend me. When I was telling you what we do and how we deliver it and all this stuff, was how much of you was like, yeah, this is probably a load of BS and it's probably not going to pan out to what he's pitching it as?
My initial response was, I'm not sure that this is going to really work out the way he said it would. But then if you remember, you were having a meeting, and I said, can I come to your meeting and spend an hour and kind of just see how you trained and what the meeting was all about? And at the end of that meeting, I said, I'm ready to join.
Right. So what clicked the switch for you to join Medway Realty?
Probably 90% of it was just the ongoing training and keeping myself motivated, because everyone has their days where they don't want to do anything. And if
we all
do.
do.
Yep. If there's not somebody that's going to say, hey, you got to get up and get going, you won't.
You've got to have your own voice in your head telling you that. If you don't have that, you're not going to be successful. So here we are, a year and I think a month on that you've been with us, like 13 months. So we went from doing no business before, where you were, paying for training out of pocket, 13 months in with us, you've never paid for a single thing out of pocket, and you only pay per close. What's your production levels like?
Well, for the year, I believe I'm at 11, and I just got another listing, and from that listing, when that sells, there'll be a sale, a new home for that person. So that would put me probably at 13, and we still got 3 or 4 months left in the year. So
13 transactions. So we went from 0 in 6 months to 13 in 12 months.
Yep.
Now, I'm not suggesting that you attribute that to me, because I'm not that important in the component in the cog of the engine. But I do know you work hard. Like you're in the office every day. You're on every Zoom that we have. You're in every training that we have. And I always use you as like the poster child. You know that I kind of embarrass you sometimes. Bill's always here. Bill always shows up. And you really do. So kudos to you for that. You're always in it to win it. And, 13 transactions in 1 year. and going from 0 to 13 is incredible. And in the way that the market has been, it's not been the best market, right?
That's for sure. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to when the market turns. So
It's coming,
amazing.
it's turning, it's definitely coming back. So overall, if you asked for somebody like, what would you consider the key benefits of being a realtor at Medway Realty, if you had to name 3 things that stood out to you the most, what would those 3 things be?
Well, obviously the training, coaching, number one. The environment here is terrific. Everybody, we come here, we have a good time, we learn something,
We have fun.
and that's super important. And then knowing that there's somebody that's always going to push you a little each day to make you a better
That's
person.
me, right?
Yeah, that's you.
So, yeah, and we do that. So, I'm disappointed though you didn't say you got a handsome looking broker. Or was that the 5th one? You
No,
didn't give you the 5th.
that's on. You can see that.
So, so well done. You're doing great guns. 13 transactions in 12 months from where you were to now. I predict you're going to be, 20 to 30 transactions next year, the way that it's going. And just keep rolling with it. You're doing extremely well.
I thank you so much.
Thanks for sitting down.
It's great.